So, I think we are live. Good evening, everybody. Great to see you again. Great to be here with you. We're going to continue the article that we were doing last week. Hello, Count Beauty. I love your timing. You're always spot on. Good evening, Nora. Great to see you. And VG. Good evening, Cheyenne. To redound to your advantage. That was Naif who actually asked me for that one. Good evening, Maruf. Great to see you. Yay, we've started. Yeah, we've just started. So this is the last one on screen. Is the last one we did last week. I'll remind you, this is about the escape of Eamon de Valera from Lincoln prison. Hi, Sarah. Okay, so recounting the escape later, de Valera said he had been poised, was the right word, to lock the door to the exercise yard gate when he was urged by his comrades to hurry away from the prison. Had I locked that door, and I really like this, had I locked, if I had locked, nobody would have ever known how we had escaped. Yes, VG, but I'm sure it's warm rain, not cold rain. That's funny. My internet used to get bad when it rained, but not anymore. That has changed, so I'm lucky about that. I think the water gets into the cables or something like that. I would say my internet crashed. I would use the word crashed, VG, yeah, or either it went down as well. Sup, Vitali, good to see you. Okay, so now we're starting to rock and roll. Okay, Mr. O Cuiv first heard the tale of his grandfather's escape when he was a young boy. He said that his mother's birth document verification proof certificate, she was born in 1918, lists her father's address as Lincoln Prison. Okay, so so let's see, certification vibes is normally the process, yeah, whereas the certificate is the piece of paper. Okay, so we've got lots of votes for certificate. This looks like a landslide. So Vitali, Vibe, Cheyenne, Abira, Count Beauty, Nora, Eliza, Ash, Manji, Roland, and Victor Gabriel, Ronan, and Gabriel as well. Good evening, Tomek. Great to see you. Yeah, it's a collocation, absolutely. It's a birth certificate. Verification is effectively again a process, like Vibes' question about certification, the verification process. And proof, well, the fact that I'm here is proof that I was born, but yeah, it proves when you were born. To certificate, yeah, very definitely. Sorry, Malak, it's going to be the birth certificate. The birth certificate is a document. Yeah, but birth document, I guess it could work, but the collocation is birth certificate. That's the right one to use. Okay, to certify a verb. This document hereby certifies that you are all very apt speakers of English. Okay, you're all very, very able. I don't think there's anybody below C1 in this class. Okay, so we're going to go with another one in a second. Here we go. As I grow older, the more I look at it and think what an adroit, adept, nimble, neat escape it was. No violence, no nothing, just out the door and gone. And it's very true. They didn't hurt anybody, they didn't kill anybody, they didn't beat anyone up, they just escaped. And that was Very clever. So Count goes for adroit. Ha. Vitali goes for nimble. Ha. What a great escape it was. That's a good one, Ronan. Ha. So it's the right collocation. Yeah, birth certificate is the right collocation. Cheyenne goes for nimble. Ha. Okay, Ash goes for neat, since it's informal speech. So, let's wait for some more answers. This one's quite interesting. Roland goes for adroit, Manji goes for neat, and Ronan goes for adept, Abira goes for neat. So, this is quite interesting. Rainyard goes for adroit. I'm going to wait for a few more because we've got a very big and what's your Maria? That's it, isn't it? Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure that says Maria in Korean. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Goes for neat. Gabriel goes for nimble. Nora goes for adept or adroit. So, adept. I think we most normally use adept. No, this is an adjective. These are all adjectives defining escape, Ronan. He's very adept at this. He's very skillful at doing this. He's an adept speaker of English. I think adept probably fits. Adroit. Efficient. Adroit, efficient, quite a formal word, and I think adroit is probably, both adroit and adept are just too formal for this. Nimble, nearly always we're using nimble to talk about somebody who's agile. I'm not very nimble on my feet. Nimble is normally something more physical. So we got some more answers. Bibe says nimble because it's smoothly done without any obstacles, and that's part of the key, because it's smoothly done. Renyard has become a neatnik and goes for neat. Nimble is like agile. Yes, death certificates and marriage certificates also exist. Absolutely. A death certificate, a marriage certificate. But notice, marriage, not married. So, ladies and gentlemen, the right answer is neat. Okay, if something's neat, this is, it's well done, it fits together very well. So, also, if you look at it, this is really quite informal, because it's in inverted commas, and he says, know nothing. Know nothing is very informal speech. I think adroit and adept, they would fit, but they're a bit formal, particularly with this know nothing. A nimble escape. I think a nimble escape would talk more about acrobatics, yeah? So if something is very neat, it's done very well, yeah? Yeah. So yes, Ash and Manji were the first two to get that right. So well done, Eliza. Well done, Manji. Well done, Abira. That was very good. A neat escape. Yeah, that was neatly done. Okay, so neat, most normally neat and tidy, but in this case, neat is definitely the word to use. Okay, that was neatly done. If I say the story is a skeleton of itself, it means so slim and consuming. Okay, yes. Yeah, it's cut down, it's reduced. It hasn't got all the details. Adept at. He's very adept at this. It would be a neat solution. That's a good sentence, Roland. Well done. Okay, Mr. O Cuiv said the story was one people in Ireland love. And according to the Lincolnshire County historian Dr. Erik Grigg, Grigg, lots of Irish people erroneously, invalidly, inaccurately, fallaciously visit the city's old prison, which closed in 1878, hoping to see where de Valera, enacted, did his great escape. So, Beauty, Eliza, and Vitali and Abira all go for erroneously. Okay, so they're visiting the wrong place, but they think it's the right place. Gabriel's going for erroneously as well. This looks like a landslide for erroneously. The last one was clearly a lot harder. And Nora goes for erroneously, Roland and Maria as well. This looks like it's going to be a landslide. So, if something is fallacious, it's wrong. Yeah? He spoke to me fallaciously. Wow, thank you, Roland. That's incredibly kind of you. Wow. Okay, so something that is fallacious is, it's not true, although people might believe it's true. Yeah? But, so, invalid. If something's invalid, it's not valid, it doesn't work. Yeah? Yeah, you could enter invalid characters into the box. Good evening, Jerry. Great to see you. So, a fallacious assumption. That's very good. Inaccurately. Well, if something's inaccurate, I guess inaccurately might fit. Fallacious, misleading. That's very good vibes. But erroneous is where you make a mistake. So mistakenly, erroneously, and this is definitely the answer. Have I spelled that right? Yes, I have. Fallacious testimony. Yeah, a fallacious assumption. That's very good indeed. Thank you again, Ronan. That's really kind of you. Okay, so if something is invalid, it's not, your ticket is invalid. Yeah. If something's inaccurate, well, it's not exactly right. Wow, Ronan, thank you so much again. And something's fallacious, it's misleading. Yeah. Often collocates with argument. Yeah, very good. Fallacious argument. That's very good, Ash. I like that a lot. Okay, so a fallacious argument is erroneously believed by many people. Yeah, many people believe things erroneously. Okay, a fallacious argument. It's misleading. It's wrong. Okay. However, the former inmate's grandson admits the plan was not without its blemishes, flaws, omissions, lacks, and that putting Collins, Boland, and de Valera in the same place was a big risk. So we've got 5 for flaws already. Tomek, Vitali, Cheyenne, Gabriel, Count Beauty, and Maria goes for flaws as well. Let's see if I'll give you a few more. Ash goes for flaws as well. So it looks like it's going to be a landslide for flaws. Let's see. A blemish is an imperfection. Yeah. So Abira, Manji, Nora for flaws as well, and Roland. So a blemish, it's an imperfection. Yeah. A blemish on his character. Yeah. And Mr. Fox goes for flaws as well. Omissions, I guess omissions might work, but omissions is things that they didn't do. And lacks, well, not really. A flaw absolutely is the right answer. Okay, a flaw is a structural mistake. Yeah, it's something that's mistaken inside it. Yeah, a diamond could have a flaw. Yeah, a plan has a flaw. This plan is flawed. Maybe somebody's character could be flawed. Okay, so absolutely, definitely. And next one's quite a big paragraph. Okay, so yeah, a fatal flaw. And good evening, Carolina. Good to have you with us. Okay, and you go for flaws as well, and flaws is the right answer. You see, you all got it right. I'm impressed. Good evening, Paolo. So it would have been a bit of a disaster if they had been caught. You would have lost 3 of the big players, he said. It's like saying, what if the Germans had managed to bomb Buckingham Palace, kill the king, or kill Churchill? It was maybe a bit unwise, foolhardy, madcap, harebrained, but the idea was to send their best men, their most reliable organisers. Good evening, Hannah. Thank you. The modern glass tower is a blemish among the old-fashioned houses. Yeah, a blemish on the landscape, a blot on the landscape. Okay, so Cheyenne goes for unwise, Ash goes for foolhardy, Count Beauty goes for madcap, Cheyenne goes for foolhardy. Okay, he's changed his mind, and Abira goes for foolhardy as well. So, buenas noches, Carolina, desde la Verde Galicia. So, Roland goes for foolhardy, Manji goes for unwise. Okay, so let's have a look at these, because let's see. I think 2 of these answers fit. I think one's probably better than the other. Yeah? So, Vitali goes for madcap. That's interesting. And Nora goes for unwise. Okay, if something is harebrained, a hare is like a rabbit, a big rabbit with great big ears. Hare. Madcap, harebrained might suit too. But you see, I think Eliza, I think Ash, I think the plan was very reasonable. Yeah? And if something is harebrained, it's absolutely crazy. So, Reynard goes for harebrained. So, a harebrained, if you gave me an idea and I called it harebrained, I would be saying it's a silly idea. You know the hares go mad in March, the Mad March hare. Yeah? So a harebrained idea, well, sometimes harebrained ideas work, but I think this was a pretty reasonable thing to do. Get a key, open it, and leave. Madcap. Madcap has the idea of running around like crazy. He's got a very madcap sense of humour. Yo, Leferite, great to see you. So, this is quite interesting. Okay, I'm going to give you my answers. In my opinion, foolhardy is the best answer. I think unwise is probably my second answer. I think harebrained may be third, but quite a long way away. And a bit madcap. Madcap is hectic and running around and insane. Yeah? So, absolutely, a madcap plan and a harebrained plan is very unlikely to succeed. And that's why, Roland, they're my third and fourth answers. It was a bit unwise. Okay, very often we say, I think it was a bit unwise, but we're being polite. It was a bit foolhardy. Foolhardy is probably stronger than unwise, but it works very well. So, foolhardy. Yeah, because if it's foolhardy, it was a silly thing to do. Yeah? If it's unwise, it's silly. Harebrained and madcap have more the idea of crazy ideas. Okay, so, but also he's got a very madcap sense of humour. Ah, that's better. Better for my throat. Okay, harebrained. Yes, but somebody who's harebrained is always having weird and crazy ideas. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think the idea of passengers going to Mars is harebrained or just foolhardy? I don't know. I think it's a bit harebrained. Well, maybe he'll make it work. He has a harebrained idea, a really crazy idea. Let's see. These slapstick comedies are very madcap. Okay, so we're starting to get some answers already. During his incarceration, de Valera's Sinn Féin, notice the pronunciation, Sinn Féin party, had brushed, scrubbed, dusted, swept the boards at the 1918 general election, winning 73 of the 105 Irish seats with de Valera, despite being behind bars, winning both in East Clare and Mayo East. So, looks like everybody except for Carolina is going for swept. So, Count Beauty, Vibes, Tomek, Cheyenne, Ash, Roland, Manji, Maria. Good evening, Sherwin. Great to see you. Sherwin goes for dusted as well. And Abira goes for swept as well. So, great to have you with us, Sherwin. Okay, so this means he was very, very successful. Yeah, he pushed all of the opposition out of the way. So, to brush the boards, no, not at all. To scrub would be like cleaning it, and to dust again would be cleaning it. I think the boards here are the different electoral seats. In fact, to sweep the board is an idiom. Very good indeed, Ash, I love it. So, to sweep the board is to win everything, yeah? Okay, and Jerry's gone for swept and Roland's gone for swept. So to sweep the board, to win everything, or to win a massive majority, yeah? With every prize in the context. To win everything that's available. The driver dusted the competition. Okay, yeah, I see what you're trying, Sherwin, but here he swept the board. Okay, so to sweep the board, well, I think probably here maybe it's something like imagine you're playing checkers, as the American courts call it, or drafts. If you sweep the board, you take all of your opponent's pieces. Yeah. Okay, but notice here it's got an S as well. But he swept the board, so exactly. SWEPT. And good evening, Jessica. The meaning of overthrow. Okay, overthrow is very easy. The dictator overthrew the legitimate government. Yeah? To overthrow is to take power from somebody. I managed to overthrow the current CEO of the company by getting more votes than he did. Okay, so nondescript. Yeah, so nondescript is just they're non-entities. They're not relevant. They don't really deserve mention. Spread, no, Malak. Here, sweep. Let's see. The flood swept the boy into the river. To push, yeah. A sweeping victory, where you sweep your opposition out of the way. Okay, so here. Gusto. I'm pretty sure I've got it. I will have a look though. Gusto is actually a Spanish word. Yeah, con mucho gusto, tío. Okay. Without any conspicuous characteristics. Thank you, Reynard. That was a great definition. Yeah. Huh. A sweeping gesture, a spreading gesture. So in that case, yes. Wow, Deepak, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's really kind of you, Deepak. Okay, so, huh. Okay, I will have a look because I've got good ways of searching for it. But thanks for giving me ideas left or right. So, let's try that one. Huh. But party members refused to take their seats, chairs, benches, stools in Westminster, and on 21 January 1919 assembled at the Mansion House in Dublin to form an Irish Parliament known as the Dáil Éireann. So thank you again, Deepak, and thank you, Ronan, as well for the previous one. To overthrow the working class. I'm not sure you can overthrow the working class. You could overthrow the middle class, or you could overthrow the upper class, but you normally maybe the unemployed want to overthrow the working class, I suppose, but it needs to be somebody in authority. So, enthusiasm, let's see. So, seats from Count, Vitali, Gabriel, Cheyenne, Sherwin, Tomek, Roland, Ash, Manji, Maria, Ronan, and Reynard. So the answer here, seats, has swept the board. It's gone everywhere. Yes, in a politician in a parliament has a seat. You can't use any other word. Yeah, and more people going for seats as well. Yeah. So, yeah, Reynard, Paulo, Abida, yeah, it's seats. You have seats in the parliament. You need more seats than the opposition. Okay, this one's a bit long. Oh, we're almost finished. I better wait until you can all see this. Thank you again, Deepak. No, Malak, it's seats. Yeah, that's very interesting. In the British Parliament, they sit on benches, but the seat is the electoral unit. Here, okay. So he won the seat for Oxford East. Yeah. But then they all sit on the benches, and the benches they do use in parliamentary language. A backbencher. Sweep the board. Win overwhelmingly or by a landslide. Absolutely. So, following his escape, de Valera returned to Ireland, where at the April meeting of the Dáil he was named president. By the time of his death in August 1975, aged 92, he had been elected Taoiseach, and I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that, Prime Minister, 3 times, and served as President of Ireland from 1959 until 1973. More than 200,000 people seamed, padded, lined, rode, filed the streets of Dublin for his funeral, taking the opportunity to honour the man who had helped them free the British. And we've got another landslide for lined. Okay, Count Beauty's gone for filed, so it's not... the chair is only for the chairman, absolutely. And Reynard's gone for seamed. Okay, so, firstly, file may work, but they filed down the streets. They filed along the streets. Yeah? And you don't file the streets. They filed down the streets. They filed along the streets. And that's why file doesn't work. He'd be 138 today. And Ronan, Ash, Nora, Maria, Roland, and Malak all go for lined. Okay. seamed. No, the seam is where you join two pieces of cloth together. Padding is stuffing, particularly inside a coat or a padded armchair. And rowed, well, this would be to row, and it doesn't work. Queued. I'm thinking about queued. Well, maybe if they waited in line to see him, but here normally an Anglo-Saxon funeral, particularly an Irish one, I bet you his body was in a hearse, probably drawn by 6 horses, like some sort of carriage that they pulled down the street like a procession. And here the people filed were either side, not filed, the people were lined in files down each side of the street. Okay, good evening, Jaskaran. So, not queued. Here. Okay, here. And if I was Irish, I would vote for him too. He's a hero. Yeah, he escaped from prison from the British. He gave half of Ireland independence. He was fighting for a good cause. And also, the British behaved terribly in Ireland as well. Well, another area where I should apologise. The British are very good at behaving terribly in all sorts of places. Okay, that's the end. I'm sorry to hear that, Jashkan. I hope you get better soon. So we've got now another article, because that was the end of that one. And we're only halfway through. A rich seam of data. I'm actually thinking to seam. A seamer is somebody who bounces the ball off the seam in cricket. Lined the street. No, not to pave the way is an idiom. Wow, Manji, thank you. That's really kind of you. To pave the way is to prepare something for the future. So a good basic understanding of English grammar paves the way for being able to speak good quality English. Thank you very much, Vitali. Tishok. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, so, wow, Manji, thank you. So, this is about what bosses really think about remote work. So, thank you, Ronan, thank you, Deepak, and thank you, Manji. No, pave the way is not the same as line the street. Yeah, line the street, they're either side of the street. To pave the way is to make the foundation for something better. Thank you. Okay, what was the right answer? Filed was the right answer. Yeah, no, sorry, line, not filed. I keep saying the wrong answer. Lined the street. Yeah, they lined the street. That was the right answer. Okay, what bosses are really thinking about remote work? Many managers are craving, itching, pining, desiring to get staff back to the office, despite employees championing alternative frames, setups, makeups, put-ups. Why and how this will change workers' futures. So, we've got lots of answers here already. Okay. So, let's see. Vitali goes for itching. So does Cheyenne. No, Rona, not seamlessly. What was that one? Lined the street. So Vibes goes for itching. Good evening, Seema. Great to have you with us. And pave the way does not mean line the streets, Malak. Okay. So Abira goes for craving. Okay. Count Beauty goes for itching and setups. Left or right goes for itching powder. So left or right goes for itching powder. Wow, I'm way behind. Okay, so Carolina goes for craving, Vitaly goes for setups. Thank you, Seema. Yeah, he's laying the foundation work. Very good. That's a good definition, Seema. Desiring. Who said that? Nora goes for desiring and setups. Abira goes for setups. Maria goes for setups. Sorry, Maria goes for desiring. And left right goes for setup. Pining and setup. And I want to go remote from my work. This article is so true. Ash goes for itching. Carolina goes for craving. And they all work. Craving, itching, pining, desiring. Who said they all work? Barnes. Yes, I believe they all work. Which was the one they used originally, and which one do you think is best? So Seema says desiring, Roland says craving, Manji goes craving, Renyard goes itching and setups. Okay. Ronan goes for craving, Gabriel goes for pining, Manji goes for setups. Seema goes for trying to get the hang of this activity. Yes, you've just got to choose the right word. It's not very easy, Seema. Malak goes for craving. Ronan goes for setups. Jerry goes for desiring. Thank you, Vitaly. Yeah. Okay, so, yes, it's another Vitaly. Okay. I think it says Maria in English, left or right. Yeah? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do the second one first. Alternative frames. No, an alternative framework. Yeah? Makeup. The team is made up of people with different abilities. Yeah? So what is the makeup of this class? Well, the makeup is people from all over the world. Put-ups? Well, I don't know what put-ups are, but definitely setups. Okay, so a setups. Yes, that's it, Seema. Very good indeed. Okay, so longing for something that you once had. That's very good, Barnes. Okay, so they're desiring. I think that they firstly, I wouldn't use desiring because this are desiring. I think I would use desire in as a present simple. It's more a verb of state. Many managers desire to get staff back to the office. Are desiring. I don't like a continuous tense for that. Thank you, Barnes. It's great to have definitions of these. So, for example, to pine. You pine for something when you miss it. So a dog might pine for his owners when they go away on holiday. Yeah, so to pine for something you once had. Craving, where you crave something, this is more like an addiction. Yeah, when you stop, try to stop smoking, you get this craving. So, in my opinion, well, the word they used in the original article was itching. And I think probably best to pine for love. Absolutely. They really want to. So I think maybe itching best. Pining maybe equal best. Craving, it's like they're addicted to it. Maybe they're addicted to it. So third, and desiring a long way forth because I don't like this. Yeah, you pine for your girlfriend's affection, absolutely, but you're probably itching to get back with her. So itching is the right one. Yes, Vitaly gave us a good definition. Setups, arrangements. Yeah. So I really like this article. I think it's quite interesting. Leaning across their desk to ask a colleague a quick question. Spontaneously, impulsively, off the cuff, rashly heading out for a walk and talk brainstorm, and knowing that everyone's logged on to a stable Wi-Fi connection. These are just a few of the reasons James Rogers, 26, loves managing their team from the office instead of a kitchen table. So, Ronan, craving would work, but craving is more like when you're addicted to something. A craving for the cigarette, a craving for cigarettes. Yeah? I have a craving for chocolate. Sometimes when people are pregnant, they get cravings for really strange things. I want a chocolate and crab sandwich, please. Yeah, that's a craving. It would do, but... So, Ronan, craving works, but it says more like they're addicted to it. Okay, so the next one, we've got a yes, pining definitely connotes a sadness, whereas itching means they're really eager. And that's why I think they used itching instead of pining. Because maybe they miss it, but they're really itching to do something. Children are itching for Christmas to come. Wow, we've got a big variation here. So Count goes for rashly, Ash goes for spontaneously, Leverite goes for impulsively, Maria goes for spontaneously, off the cuff for Vitali, Cheyenne goes for spontaneously, Larry goes for spontaneously, Manji off the cuff, Ronan spontaneously, vibes, on the spur of the moment. Yes, that's perfect vibes, only it's not one of the answers. Craving is a physical desire, it's like a need. Yes, that's but fine, Carolina. So Mr. Fox goes for spontaneously. Jerry goes for impulsively. Itching, desperate to do something. You really, really want to do it. Yeah? Okay, so I think maybe itching is more positive. Pining is sad, and you're sad because you haven't got it. Wow, thank you very much, Barnes. That's really kind of you, sir. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, let's see. I think at least two of these words mean something negative. If you're impulsive, you do something really without thinking about it enough. Wow, thank you, Barnes. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Ronan. I'm a really lucky boy. Okay, so off the cuff is... I'm not sure what you... okay, let's see. So, impulsively, if you're impulsive, you act very, very suddenly and without thinking about the consequences. And rash is even worse. It's it was very rash of me to lend him all that money. It was very rash of me to go out without an umbrella. I ended up absolutely soaking wet. Thank you, Barnes. So, Abira goes for spontaneously, Roland goes for spontaneously. This is a difficult one. Sherwin goes for spontaneously, Malak goes for rashly. Okay, so I'm going to discard rashly and impulsively. I think impulsively might work, but it's a bit... it's a little bit negative. Okay, so I think either off the cuff or spontaneously. But in this, I would say I would probably put off the cuff, firstly from a grammatical point of view. I think I would put it after and heading out for a walk and talk brainstorm brainstorm off the cuff. Yeah, I wouldn't put off the cuff before. So spontaneously, impromptu. That's a very good word. So an impromptu meeting. He did it impromptu. Yes, it can. I would probably say heading out impromptu for a walk and talk brainstorm. Same as with off the cuff. Also, if something's off the cuff, I would use off the cuff for something not prepared. He gave a speech off the cuff. I prepared is more for a speech. Absolutely, Ronan. Perfect. Wantonly. Wantonly is more like rashly. Yeah, with no reason and a bit unfortunately. So, spontaneously. I think impulsively works. I'm not very happy with the grammar of off the cuff. So, spontaneously, number 1. Impulsively, maybe 2. Okay, but notice wanton killing as well. But you're right, absolutely. Extemporary. Okay, let's see. Good evening, yes, it's me. So by the seat of your pants, flying by the seat of your pants. But Cheyenne, that's more where you don't know what you're doing. So I got to the edge of the map and I didn't have any more map. So I had to I had to navigate by the seat of my pants, playing it by ear, which is slightly different. Yeah, spontaneously is just you do it because it's the right thing to do. Randomly, yes, yeah, without thinking about it, without thinking too much about it. So, let's continue. We as a business are very much office first. Oh gosh, I haven't let it get down to you. So, the answer was spontaneously, and lots of you got that right. Okay. Yes, it just suddenly comes out of you and it's not impulsive or rash. Okay, now this is better. We as a business are very much office first, and personally I believe we can be a stronger personnel, workforce, manpower, shop floor when based in the office full-time, says Rogers, a digital public relations lead in the London branch of a British-American global content agency. So we've got... Normally 2, you arrive at the place. I walked to my home. I walked towards my home in the direction of. With 2, you normally you arrive. I'm going to the shop. I'm going towards the shop, but I'm not going to arrive. Wow, so we've got a landslide for workforce. Vibe, Cheyenne, Count, Vitali, Gabriel, Maria, Ronan, Ash, Seema, Ahmed, Sherwin, Nora, Remyard, and yes. Let's see, Nora. Miscellaneous or multifarious, various or heterogeneous, definitely Nora. So, yes has gone for personnel. Okay, so I'm going to disappoint you straight away, and Carolina has gone for workforce. So personnel, yes, it means staff, but normally personnel is uncountable, and therefore a personnel, not really. I'm going to the shop, I arrive at the door, and I meet my friend outside. I go into the shop, I enter it. So salt in the wound is to make something difficult more painful, Google. Okay, so personnel it isn't. Manpower talks about the people available. The shop floor is the place in a factory where the work is done, or the shop floor, the workers. So the union took a vote of the shop floor about whether to go on strike or not. The shop floor, the workers, not the managers, not the people who work in the offices, but the people who actually do the work, the shop floor. So, unfortunately, parcel force, I love it, left or right. So, Silver, you're torn between workforce and manpower. Manpower talks about the people available to do the job. Workforce talks about all the people who work for a country, all the people who work for an organisation. So, personnel, no. It should be uncountable. Shop floor, no, because it's only part of the workforce. The manpower are the people available. No, the workforce. FORCE. By making examples and trying to use... Okay, office first. It means that the office is the most important place. He's saying office first. Is a lot of their bit of what they do takes place in the office. And I think he's using it to say, I don't really like remote working. Yeah? So, yeah. Okay, so office first. Office is the most important place to be. It's much more important than being online. Okay. So, a few more of these and then we're finished. Okay, so we got another one coming up. So the answer to the previous one was workforce. The manpower are the people available. At the top of the pecking order. Okay, so this one's going to be easy for you. The firm started giving employees the option to return to the office part-time in April. Our aim is to have, for having, have as many of our team back in the office as often as possible in the coming months. Okay, so this one's easy. Good evening, PE, great to see you. So we're going to have a landslide for to have. What is the second possibility? To have is the right answer, by the way. But which other one of these four fits? And what is the structure? Yes, to have, absolute landslide. But what is the other possibility? What's the other possibility? So yes, okay, Jerry, no, to have is the right answer. What's the second possibility? What is the second possibility that's correct here? Our aim is having. Okay, I think so. I think maybe I malign Jerry. Yes, having. And maybe have as well. I think there are three possibilities. Our aim is having as many of our team back in the office. And our aim is have as many of our team back in the office. Yeah, I'll have him back, but not for having. Yeah, to have is the right answer. Our aim is having, yeah, I guess works. Our aim is have as many people back as possible. But for having, no. For having is the one I hate. For plus noun, to plus verb. Okay, I think second and third, having and have, and I think both of these would fit. Having said which is second, looking at it carefully, I think both of those also fit. By repeating it and repeating it and repeating it, have versus get, yes, is our aim is get as many of our team back in the office as possible, is have as many of our team back in the office as possible. So, Nora, to bail a person out of any difficulty he can be bogged down in, means to redeem him, to salvage him, to help him, to save him. To bail, when a boat is sinking, you bail water out of the boat as quickly as you can. Okay? Practice, practice, practice. Yes, it's the only way. So to bail out is to stop sinking. Yeah? Bail out is not really redeem. Yeah? Okay, to bail out is to save, to help save. Yeah? To do what you can. Okay? Let's see, also, maybe you're in prison and your friend pays the bail money. Yeah? On the street, in the street. Okay, Vibes, I love your question. On the surface of the street. So you're walking on the surface. Whereas in the street, you're thinking about the street as a three-dimensional thing. But both meanings are valid. So on the surface of it or in the three dimensions. So on a two-dimensional object, in a three-dimensional object. So let's see. Human resource experts say Roger's attitude is indicative of a broad, sweeping, thick, plain trend. It's a pleasure, Eamon. So let's see. We've got lots of answers now. Cheyenne goes for broad. Gabriel, Victor Gabriel, Count. On the street is US. In the street, yes, that's very good. I think I like that as well. Eliza Ash goes for broad. Seema goes for broad. Ronan goes for broad trend. Okay. Abira goes for broad trend. Can you bail out a damaged plane? Well, if it's sinking in a lake, yes, but to bail out of. I always consider that BALE, but yes, you can bail out of a damaged plane to jump out with a parachute, but I normally consider that BALE. So left right goes for sweeping. Interesting. Sherwin goes for a broad trend. It can be in the street or on the street. Maria goes for broad. Yes goes for broad. Vibes goes for sweeping. Jerry goes for broad. Yes for broad. And, well, just practice, practice, practice. Sweeping is your second answer. So what's your first one, Sherwin? You probably already had broad trend. Okay, yes, you already went for broad. Very good. Carolina goes for broad. Okay, so a thick trend, no way. A plain trend, no way. I think it could be either broad or sweeping. If it's sweeping, remember this sweep the board from before, that everybody is in favour of it. Whereas broad talks about general but not everybody. And I think in this case it's a broad trend rather than a sweeping trend. Yeah, a majority of people think about it, whereas sweeping would be everybody thinks this. And welcome to the sweeping club. No, so the right answer is broad. It could be a sweeping trend, and in a minute we will see the actual statistics. I think so broad means generally. Okay. So, okay, to presume and to assume. I presume this is true. I assume this is true. I think they're probably both very similar, Hambil, but I think presume, maybe it's got an idea of assuming something that you shouldn't really assume. I think they're very, very close. A sweeping victory, exactly. Seema, as opposed to a broad victory, a general victory. Okay. Broad trend describes something that includes a large number of different things or people. Prevalent or widespread trend. Okay, I like prevalent. Widespread, yes. Sweeping reforms, sweeping changes. That's very good collocations, Ahmed. Huh. Sweeping is 100%. Yes, it's nearly everybody. Okay, a sweeping success. Despite means but. Presume is more with proof. Okay, thank you for that, Vibes. Okay, so we need to do this. Despite numerous global surveys indicating remote working has been a positive experience for a significant slice, portion, quota, share, segment, ration of employees, and that many, though not all, want it to continue. Plenty of bosses disagree. So many, but not all. A broad trend. Okay. So, portion for left, right, segment for count. To imply. The evidence implies this. It shows this. Gabriel goes for segment of employees. VG goes for segment. Manji goes for portion. Vitaly goes for share. Assume is only about you guessing. Carolina goes for share. There's a video somewhere on assume and presume. Okay, Vibes goes for portion. Seema goes for portion. Maria goes for share all portions. He's covering the options. Okay, Eliza goes for portion, but other options may work. Nora goes for segment. Okay, so quota. Let's explain quota. A quota is an allowed amount. Yeah? So, for example, you have a fishing quota, the amount of fish you're allowed to catch, or a milk quota, the amount of milk you're allowed to produce. So the quota is the official amount that you're allowed to have or do or use. It's not quota. I think segment, if it's a segment, normally you segment markets. You segment into different bits, into different wedges. And I think if it was segment, it would be certain types of employees. So I think segment would work, but I think that the meaning in this case is more general. A slice. I wouldn't use a slice of employees, but it might work. A significant share. A share of employees. I don't really like share. The right word is portion. Although I think proportion would be better. Quota, standard quantity, allowance. A segment is a triangle. You segment markets. So, water or water? Abdur, water, water. But in Chav English, water, water. It's a very difficult word, Abdur. So, portion. For Sherwin and Abdur. So, portion is the answer that they used immediately. A segment is a slice of, normally a slice of a market. Yeah. So there was the segment of advertising of the workers in the advertising industry don't want to go. So, in the terms of the political sphere, well, the quota. Okay, the amount of time you're allowed to work. Water, 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 water. Yes, it's very good, Vibes. It's a very difficult word. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, enough. So, what do you want? What in it? It's water, in it. That's how you pronounce it. You say water. Water's the thing that you say. No, I much prefer an RP accent. Okay, certain amount, a quota. The daily intake of sugar should not surpass 20 grams, the quota. My quota of sugar is almost 0. So enough for today. Thank you all very much for coming. You've been a great audience as always. Gonna ruffle some feathers, but stuff could be looked up. We get sidetracked a lot. Yes, the glottal T is water without the T. Thank you very, very much for coming. I'm going to stop now. I'll leave the chat open for a bit so you can talk to each other. You've been a wonderful group. Yes, you can talk. You can talk to each other for entertainment for a bit, and I will come back. Thank you very much indeed. No, Chav is really, really, really difficult. So Malak, no, the portion of people, the portion. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, thank you all for coming. It's been great. You've been a wonderful group as always, and you've been really generous. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, I forget your name, which is not good. So I'm still trying to find names. Well, thank you, all those who donated. Thank you very much. It's incredibly kind of you. I will be back again next week, and we'll do more of the same.